Hey, quick thing before the show. We want to give you a quick talk too about the box office scorecard and looking at what movies do well and why. This week in the box office, we had 3 movies all open. None of them took the top spot. That went to Finding Dory again. But there was an interesting dynamic between numbers 2 and 3. In number 2, we had The Legend of Tarzan. It made $46 million. Nothing to sneeze at. It's a good money. But when you consider the budget being $180, it's not much of a winner. The next one was The Purge, which made $36 million, and at a $10 million budget, it's the big winner. A lot of the time, we're publishing these things about what the movie made and not necessarily what the movie cost, and it might make a movie look like a loser when in fact it's a big winner, such as this weekend with The Purge. So when we're looking at these things, and when the studios are looking to make these big budget movies, and they're trying to make tons and millions of dollars off of them, you don't need to aim quite that high. Tarzan didn't need to be costing $180 million. That was ridiculous. You could have made that movie for 75 or 80 and it would have been done just as well, and you might even made some money on it. Now it looks like they're actually going to tank the whole thing. Even worse, the BFG, Steven Spielberg's big epic, costing $130 million, and that only made 22. So we're seeing this a lot with some of these big movies that are coming out with huge budgets and are barely making any money. Tone the budgets down, because here's the thing, all that money you're spending on CGI and effects and blowing shit up, none of that's going to the story, and that's what we're all there to see. Just putting it out there. There you go. Let's start the show. Hey, it's Big Ben and Big Ben's Movie Show, back again for another week. This week, my guest host, first time we've had him on the show, it's Josh McGee.
Hey, how's it going?
Josh, how you doing?
It's going well. Just trying to beat the heat right now since my AC broke.
Gosh, yeah. No, the AC, it's a warm time. We're in Chico, California, and it is warm as balls out there. It is really bad. So, but we're inside now. Not that we have an air conditioner, but we're inside, so I guess that's better. And we're talking about some movies. Saw 2 big movies this weekend. We're going to go ahead and start with the first one. The first one is going to be The Legend of Tarzan. Ooh. Let's go ahead and take a look at the clip.
Keep your voice low. That them?
You don't want to do that, George. Kill one and the rest won't stop until they've torn you to pieces.
So how you want to play this thing?
Their leader will come down and we'll fight. Whatever happens, do not interfere. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
Promise me. Please.
Oof. Tense moments there, yeah. So that scene right there was when they go back to the jungle and he rejoins his gorilla family, and the first thing he has to do is fight the new leader for honor. So
it's one of the more interesting parts in the whole movie.
Josh, you go first. What'd you think of Tarzan?
I liked it. It could have been. When I went into it, I was expecting more of an origin story. And it was kind of 10 years into the future, and it was awkward going into this, going into it, and they had to do a lot.
It was like a comeback story. It was like there was a whole story. It ended. Mm-hmm. It's been 10 years, and now he's coming back.
Yeah, and now he doesn't want to be Tarzan anymore. He wants to be John Clayton, and he's kind of over that whole thing a little bit, trying to move on with his life, trying to separate himself, and that's not Tarzan.
No,
it's not the Disney movie we know and love that everyone wants to watch.
Serious, yeah. He actually doesn't like to be called Tarzan. At several points in the movie, people call him Tarzan, and he corrects them with
John Clayton III.
John Clayton III.
He makes it very serious that he's not Tarzan anymore.
He's like, I'm not Tarzan. Just because I'm dressed like Tarzan and I'm in the jungle and I have giant monkey knuckles, right. Which he did. He had giant monkey knuckles. It was weird.
It's one of the interesting things of the too. It explained that since he was raised in there, the formation of his hands were different.
That was one of the more interesting parts with it. I didn't like it overall, mostly because I was expecting it to be good. The trailer was good. It looked like they had a good story, and it looked intense and fun. And really none of that happens because the rhythm of the movie just isn't there. Every time it starts to build up a little momentum and we're starting to go in a cool direction, it'll stop and just have a really slow, boring scene for a minute.
I kind of felt like Samuel L. Jackson there was a lot of the place.
Yeah.
And during like a few big moments in the movie, he has these like little witty one-liners that I feel like take you out of the mood.
Yeah, they really just didn't fit what the movie was trying to do. I mean, and really him in that role, that's the kind of role I would have expected him to take 10, 15 years ago. At this time, he's in his 60s, and he's playing like the young adventuring buck, out
Like
there.
trying to go in the jungle, be like
Yeah.
Tarzan, and he's a little too old for that. He has the gray hairs coming in, and he might break a few bones doing that.
Yeah, no, this is also, we should point out, one of the more complicated Tarzan movies. The story from the trailer makes it seem that it's the story of Tarzan. So he's in the jungle, and maybe he's going to go back and protect the jungle wildlife or something like that. A normal Tarzan thing to do. No. If it wasn't clear, this movie is about getting rid of slavery. As Tarzan does. Absolutely, yeah. Tarzan hates slavery. Of course. Tarzan loved Jane. Tarzan, like gorilla, Tarzan hates slavery. That's the things we know about Tarzan.
That is one thing in this movie I did like, the relationship between Jane and Tarzan.
True.
It felt real. It felt nice, and it worked really well in the movie. That was one of the better aspects of this film.
And Margot Robbie, who plays Jane, really shines through the whole movie.
She's
great.
on fire right now.
Yeah,
and everything she's doing.
She's got Suicide Squad coming out later this year, and she's got Wolf of Wall Street from a year or two ago. She's really on a good pace and doing a lot of really good work in the movies. Really kind of a bummer. Alexander Skarsgård just really didn't bring anything to it. It just wasn't very interesting. Plus, there's a lot of, as there should be in a summer movie, there's a lot of reality bending. At one point, Tarzan has superpowers and can like bend metal, and that was the thing that freaked me out the most. He takes a metal bar and just bends it, and I was like, I'm sorry. Even if he's got stronger than normal person monkey strength, even monkeys can't just bend a metal bar.
Right.
I mean, that's...
and that other things in the movie that don't make sense is he's getting choked to death, and all of a sudden his neck is just
some garbage.
real
Garbage.
Tarzan's the next superhero, so
apparently. So, and that's another thing too. This feels like a movie that they're trying to build a franchise off of. They've got all the pieces there. They've got big name actors in place. They've got a property that can be built on and grow from. But I don't think this is the kind of thing you want to grow from, especially when we see from the weekend's box office. This movie did $46 million, which is nothing to sneeze at. That's a good amount of money, but it's not when your budget's $180 million. Yeah.
I would, especially with that kind of budget, I would expect the CGI to be a little bit more top notch.
Yeah, the CGI was pretty rough too. Although they're the other one that really kind of made me go nuts. They're trying to catch a train and they're swinging from vines, and these vines go on for days because they just keep swinging on the same vine for several minutes. It seems like as the train's just blowing by, and they're like weaving around the train on their vines. Yeah, no, so ridiculous.
Not worth seeing in the movies. I would not.
No, yeah. Wait for DVD. This is skip it. Yeah. 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 All right. So that's Legend of Tarzan. It's a whole lot of meh. But the next movie we saw, and this is the one that didn't get as much fanfare going into the weekend, but I think we both liked it more. This is The Purge. Let's go ahead and take a quick look. This isn't actually a clip or a trailer. This is a little bit of marketing that they did that I thought was quite clever. So take a look at this.
This July, have your voice be heard.
I purged.
I purged.
I purged.
I purged.
I purged because staying in is un-American.
Don't let your freedoms get taken away.
I purged because it's my civic duty.
Show your support
I purged for my family.
for The Purge.
I purged to keep my country great.
The Purge, election year.
We purged. This movie did a really good job, and I actually heard a couple of people talking about this on the way out of the theater, of taking kind of the current political climate and putting it into a movie that it doesn't totally fit into, but it still made sense as a metaphor. We see the current ruling class of this world, the new founding fathers of America, wanting to keep America great and strong by having the Purge, and the other faction that is the Senator Roan is trying to get rid of the Purge because they kind of figure out that the whole reason for the Purge is to kill poor people.
Just cost them too much money.
Yeah. What if we could get rid of all the poor people and we don't have to kill them?
Save a few bucks, both ends.
Josh, overall movie, what'd you think?
I liked it better than Tarzan. The Purge, not better than the first one. I think better than the second one. I would see it in the theaters. It was enjoyable. I really like Joe. Joe was my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah.
He kind of killed it for me. He had a bunch of witty one-liners and he was saving
my
the
favorite
movie.
one, he brings this one up a couple times. Out of nowhere, he'll just go, "Good night, blue cheese." And that was like his exclamatory remark whenever anything crazy happened. And it just stuck in my head, and I kept wanting to hear it over and over again. I think he only ended up saying it like 2 or 3 times. He's got quite a few other ones, though. Joe was a deli owner who then goes on to help the senator when she's getting chased from the bad guys and whatever. But he ends up being a really cool part of the movie and probably the funnest part for me, yeah. A couple weird things about this one, though, and this has always been my problem with all these Purge movies. There's a big announcement that lets everybody know that for the next 12 hours, all crimes are legal, including murder. Murder is the only crime I see going on. There is no other, nobody's vandalizing anything, nobody's stealing anything. It's just this like one day where everybody just decides to murder. And I gotta say, I think if you took away all the laws, that's not the thing we'd all run to do. I think stealing would probably be first.
A lot more looting,
yeah, there'd be a lot of looting.
Stores, a lot more fires.
There was no white-collar crime, which was
right.
interesting. Like,
everything was like, the roads were clean, no, all the buildings looked fine the next day.
Yep, that part was a little weird. But for the most part, it's a straight-ahead Purge movie, although it's different from the other two in that it is not a horror film. This is more of an action, suspense, thriller type thing.
And you could see that because Leo, the security guard in there, basically had an unlimited supply of clips in his back for the entire movie until he gets to one fight when they both happen to run out of ammo at the same time.
Yeah, no, and for me the biggest thing about him was he got shot right away. And they gave him, it looked like a shoulder, but it wasn't a shoulder shot, it was down here.
That would have messed you up.
There's some, like, that would have gone through a lung at least, probably pretty close to your heart. There's some real damage the difference between here and here is huge bullet-wise.
Pretty complete mobility in your arm, and he's out through the whole
movie.
movie.
No problem.
He's dropping everyone.
Yeah.
He has no issues. He's rocking.
And all he did was like patch a little cloth over it. He's like, "I'm good. I'm good, bro. I got this." And then later on, he's like, "Oh, they're tracking me with the bullet. I got to get the bullet out." No problem. Got the bullet.
So he's like sitting there 4 hours with like basically an open wound and a bullet in his chest until he decides to rip it out himself.
Yeah. No, it was
like
that part was a little silly, but at the same time, it's a Purge movie, so you're expecting it to be a little silly. And this is the difference between expectations between Tarzan and this. Tarzan, you're expecting to be a like world-class movie meant for families and everyone, and it should be wonderful. The Purge, it should just be for like kids and young people who want to go watch scary movies, and it ends up killing it. I mean, it did $36 million this weekend on a $10 million budget. It's already made its money 3 times over. I mean, that's an amazing feat for any movie. So, awesome. Yep.
And the scene in the church was crazy.
Oh, scene in the church in the end is insane. Yeah. I gotta say, one thing that I didn't expect coming, that the hit squad that would go after her were all white supremacists.
Right.
Supremacists. I didn't see that coming. And then they all like have Nazi symbols all over him. And then when the guy took his mask off, I thought that was Anthony Michael Hall. I was like, holy crap, the kid from 16 Candles is a white supremacist.
Oh my.
And then I checked later, and apparently it's just a guy who looks like him named Terry Serpico, which is also a really interesting name.
I do. It's fine. At least they're consistent with all their movies. All the like the high intense trained mercs and like all the Purge movies have been like white supremacist people.
Yeah.
Like the only people who could be trained in mercenaries in this world have to be white supremacists.
But I mean, the movie ends up being fun and having a lot of fun with the political process. And I think they did leave a little bit of room for more Purge movies. I think at the end there was a news clip saying that there are now groups fighting back and saying that they won't accept the new law.
Because she never actually got it done.
No, she did.
She got it done?
She said her first action was going to...
Well, no, that's what she was trying to do.
That's right. She never
actually got passed through. Yeah. They were saying
because they just showed the election results. They didn't show her inauguration.
They were saying her first action is going to be trying to get rid of it, but it's still in place. It still hasn't been taken out yet. So
serious. Yeah, it's
maybe possible assassination on her
Possible
life in the next
assassination
movie.
or something like that. Or I think it'd be really interesting to create a pro-Purge movie. Like, you've now made the anti-Purge movie that it's like, the Purge is bad, it kills all the poor people. But at some point, there was a reason that everybody was like, we should have a Purge. Let's do it. And I'd like to see something that kind of pushes it back in that direction.
But then it just turned into more of a tourism attraction.
That was funny too. People traveling from other countries to America so that they could purge and just kill people. And they talked to
Living
people.
the American dream.
And we want to come to America to kill people like you. It was
the best place in the world, America.
Yeah, and they had people from South Africa and people from Germany and Switzerland and all these people who came to America. They called it murder tourism.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Murder
I got
tourism.
which totally sounds like would be a thing. Like, if that was actually a part of America, was having legal murder for like 12 hours, I have no doubt that people would come here from
I
other
liked when
countries
they
to do
were
that.
when you showed their group, they had the president mask on. And
Yes.
they're attacking the senator, and
Yeah, the
you get
dude,
another good
dude's got an
one-liner.
Uncle Sam mask. His lady's got a Statue of Liberty mask. That's actually the ones that you saw in the in some of the promotionals. Yeah, there they are. Yeah, no, that was some pretty freaky stuff. This movie's always been great. These movies have been great about masks, though. They've done a really good job with that. In fact, they actually had a mask salesman.
Oh yeah, Halloween for adults.
Yeah, it's Halloween for adults.
You could tell he was gonna have fun on the Purge night.
It was, it's so weird. So that's the movies for this week. Also came out this week, BFG. I didn't get a chance to watch that in theaters this weekend, but look for that on the YouTube page for Big Ben's Movie Show. We'll be having the review on there. Moving now to Suck Not Suck. The Russo brothers, the amazing minds behind Captain America Civil War, and coming up the Infinity Wars movies coming up for Marvel, are also going to be remaking The Warriors, the classic gang film that always has that classic line, "Warriors, come out to play." I actually have never seen The Warriors. That's the only part of it I know, is the clinking of the bottles and the Warriors come out to play part. I'm interested though. I mean, have you seen the original
I've
Warriors?
not seen the original. I know my parents liked it.
Yeah.
I know we had a DVD in the house. I just never got around to it, but
Yeah.
I've heard good things about it.
I've heard good things about it too.
I'm just not too sure what to expect for a remake, just because a lot of the remakes coming out so far of movies haven't been too top-notch.
True. And actually, I did a whole rant about remakes and redos last week. But in terms of this one, I can kind of see why you would want to remake it, is that just looking at their outfits from here, that looks dated. We have all stopped wearing headbands.
And sleeveless vests.
Sleeveless vests. Speak for yourself. I wear a sleeveless vest everywhere I go. No. So sleeveless vests and headbands are out. So remaking that with kind of modern gang stuff, and maybe looking at the socio-political dynamics of gang warfare and things like that. I think there's some really cool stuff that could be explored there. And the Russo brothers, for their part, are batting 1,000. So
that's what doesn't worry me about that.
yeah,
they're set up for greatness.
exactly.
So
I'm going to go ahead and say not suck.
Not suck.
Yeah, that's solely based on the Russo brothers.
The answer is just my faith in them and the amazing content that they've produced in the past and come out with. And
they're great. It's great stuff. I've liked their stuff all the way back to their show Community that they worked on back in the day. Which, if you ever get a chance and want to go binge watch something amazing, Community, go find it online or Yahoo or whoever has it now. But yeah, that's great stuff. All right, number 2, Corey Feldman. Remember Corey Feldman? Yeah, Corey Feldman has come out and has kind of burst the bubble of some fans and says that Goonies 2 will probably never happen. If you're wondering, was Goonies 2 going to happen? It was. Up until the last year or so, they've actually had plans to remake, not remake, but to do a Goonies sequel with the entire original cast, all as grown-up versions of themselves, all going out and having one more adventure. And they had the entire cast signed on. It just never came together with a script.
Surprisingly, like that's what I would have figured stopping them, getting the whole cast to
Exactly.
come back. But
Yeah.
it seems like they had it rare and ready to go.
Because that's usually the problem. Like stuff like, people always want Firefly to make a comeback, but you can't because that whole cast, everybody loved them and they
would
gave
be
them
so
jobs doing other
amazing,
stuff.
though, yeah.
So yeah, they can't come back and do that. And I think for bringing back a TV show, it's harder than doing it for a movie. Because if it's for a movie, you all just have to get them back together for this one project.
And if anything, you could replace the whole crew with a series like that. People are so committed and you can't start the whole season and just with all new cast.
Yeah, can't do it. So, but it's kind of a bummer. Here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and say suck about this news because I would have liked to see Goonies 2. I think Goonies 2 would have been really fun. As long as they didn't try to recapture the original, like I don't want to see Sloth. I don't want to see pirate ships or anything like that. But I don't think they would have. I'm pretty sure the people behind it would have taken us in a whole new direction with a whole new story. I don't know. Would you have wanted to?
I'm not too disappointed about that. Just going back to my opinion on remakes, the first one was great, and we keep it at that. I wouldn't want to see a great thing like the Goonies get ruined.
All right, next one up. There are rumors. So this is not breaking news or anything. This is a rumor that Colin Farrell has been cast in the Justice League movie. Justice League movie is currently filming and will be filming, I believe, for another 30 days at least. So this is actually something that could definitely happen, that he might be snuck in as hopefully a major cast member that maybe not be huge in this movie, might be coming out in other movies. We don't know who it is, but it is Colin Farrell, so it's not going to be.
It can't be some subpar.
Nope.
I'm more imagining it's going to be like a cameo in there for a lead-in to a bigger, his own kind of movie.
And you mentioned earlier that you thought maybe Green Lantern, and there's a possibility there.
Actually, because we can't have Ryan Reynolds.
Because we can't have Ryan Reynolds, but here's why. So Green Lantern, they had said before, wasn't going to be in the Justice League movie. But he might show up at the end of Justice League 2, and the Green Lantern solo movie, or Green Lantern Corps, isn't coming out until like 2020. So they could definitely plant the seed of him in this.
And I could totally see that. I can see him fitting that role as Green Lantern. It's not
like
too wild.
They're at an airport or something, and there's a pilot that runs by, and it's like, Hal Jordan, we need your help. And he's like, oh, I'll get my plane out of the way.
Or you just see him flying in the air, and it's like, who's that guy? It's like, oh, that's Hal, the best pilot.
There you go. Or there's somebody, or Wonder Woman's flying in, and there's a group of planes that have to go like meet her at the border, and he's the lead pilot on that or something.
But that's the best part. I'm excited about all the speculation there is for it.
Yeah, there's so much you can speculate for days.
When it actually comes out, that's another exciting thing we get to look for in there, because there's going to be so many other little hints and tidbits and surprises.
There's so many Easter eggs in Batman vs Superman. There's tons of little nuggets they dropped all along the way, including the guy who's going to be the bad guy for this movie, Steppenwolf. There was a deleted scene that came out probably a day or two after the movie. They had talked about doing one of those after-credit scenes, but they felt that was like Marvel's thing, so they didn't want to do that. So they waited until the day after the movie came out and released it on the internet, and it was Lex Luthor having a meeting with this large kind of black monster thing with a big head, and he had mother boxes with him. And he was showing them to Lex Luthor. Ooh. And that will lead completely into Justice League.
And it wasn't like Doomsday? Or not
nope.
Doomsday,
it was before,
Darkseid.
No, it wasn't Darkseid.
It wasn't Darkseid.
This is like a minion of Darkseid.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
I'm really excited for that.
So what we're thinking now is that Justice League 1 will be all about the team getting put together to fight this Steppenwolf guy, and then Justice League 2 will be them going after Darkseid finally.
Oh, that's going to be really good. Hopefully they don't ruin that, but
yeah.
They have a few chances to get their whole movie right.
Well, and initially I was like, why are you going for Steppenwolf in your first movie? Because I don't even know who Steppenwolf is. And they were like, well, we don't want to focus on the villain. We want to focus on the team in the first movie. And
I think that's smart.
That totally makes sense. As soon as I heard it, I was like, you guys are smart. That's why I don't make giant superhero movies.
Because the thing I didn't like with Batman vs Superman, not Bootman, but
Bootman's going to be amazing.
But
Can't
Batman
wait to see Bootman.
Was Doomsday just appeared. That happened so fast. I didn't feel like there was enough introduction into him and how they it was confusing.
And he kills Superman in like 20 minutes, and you're like, wait, that's it? We've been building for this, and he's
He's gone.
Yeah,
and he's gone because they were like, oh, this super orb, the staff we don't need, I'm just going to toss in a body of water.
And he's gone for 10 minutes.
And they need it.
Yeah.
That was smart.
If you get the balls to kill him, at least let him stay dead. So anyway, all right. So that should be cool. Colin Farrell being in that. I'm going to say not suck.
Not suck. I'm really excited for that. Actually, he's a great actor.
Yeah. All right. Next up, there's a new trailer out for a film called Imperium that shows Daniel Radcliffe, little Harry Potter, going undercover as a Nazi, a neo-Nazi. There he is, all Nazified.
That is a different casting from being a wizard to neo-Nazi. He does fit the role really well.
Expelliarmus your racial hatred. So yeah,
he's looking the part.
Yeah, really well. He really does. He looks amazing. I gotta say, I'm wondering how many years it's gonna take for him not to be Harry Potter. Like, I don't know what he would have to do, how many different roles he's gonna have before we're like,
maybe
Daniel Radcliffe, not Harry Potter.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
At least till everyone forgets about him, that's not gonna happen for his lifetime.
Especially when they're talking about making more Harry Potter movies. They're talking about bringing him back as grown-up Harry Potter.
Really?
Yeah.
If he goes back into it, he has to be okay with the fact that he's always going to be Harry Potter for the rest of his life.
I think for the most part he is already. I mean, I think at this point he's kind of resigned himself to that because he does a lot of like weird art house movies like this, like Swiss Army Man and stuff like that we're seeing that are really out there in terms of content, but he's still just little Harry Potter.
He's a good actor though. Surprisingly, like you think Harry Potter and you're like, how is he going to play this neo-Nazi role? But he does it.
Yeah.
He pulls it out of his hat and casts a spell and gives himself amazing talent. But
yeah, should be good. I'm going to say not suck on Harry Potter Nazi.
Now, I'm looking forward to it. He's a great actor, and this whole neo-Nazi thing, I want to see how he does it because that's interesting dynamics from little wizard boy to neo-Nazi hatred of all people and just really angry.
Yeah, should be fun. All right, last one up. Anna Kendrick wants to play Squirrel Girl. Yeah, so first off, we should say Squirrel Girl is a character in the Marvel Universe. She's actually currently one of the Avengers in there's like 4 different versions of Avengers right now. But she is one of them, and her powers are that she has all the powers of a squirrel. So she's fast, she's a little bit stronger than most people. She's got claws, and of course,
trees.
she can talk to squirrels.
Where would you be? Where would you be if you can't talk to squirrels?
Yeah, no.
She's saving the world from every villain.
And she has like an army of squirrels that you can now see there. So this is a little mock-up of what that would look like. Can we go full screen with that? There you go. Anna Kendrick is Squirrel Girl. What do you think? Suck, not suck.
I love my superhero movies. Marvel, I'm the biggest Marvel fan you're ever going to see. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where my opinion is at. Because it could go, I'm assuming it's going to suck. Just because Squirrel Girl, Anna Kendrick, it's not really hitting the spot for me.
No.
But being a Marvel fan, I'm still going to watch it and I have hopes for it.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing. Anna Kendrick's amazing. She's wonderful. The Squirrel Girl character I've never been a big fan of, but I understand some people are. And I think if they used her in a movie, the kind of the way they use her in the Marvel Universe, a little tongue-in-cheek, a little fun, it could be pulled off. She could do it. And if anybody could do it, Anna Kendrick is definitely somebody who could.
She does look well with the squirrels. Like,
yeah.
She's rocking the outfit.
I don't know. The other person I think who could do it, and I'm blanking on her name right now. It's, can't remember. But she's, I can't even remember the things that she's in. She's one of the voices on Bob's Burgers, and she has a nice little buck tooth going on and like short hair. She actually looks a lot like Squirrel Girl
okay, I know
all the time. Yeah.
Same thing. I can't
remember her name, but yeah, she'd be great for it, and she's really funny, and she'd be a good fit for it. So if I can remember it later, I'll throw it up online. You can check it out there. So, but yeah, Anna Kendrick is Squirrel Girl. I'm gonna say not suck because everything Marvel is wonderful. So
still in the middle, but hopefully it doesn't suck.
Hopefully it doesn't suck. All right, well, that's the show for this week. Thanks for watching. If you have questions about the show, issues with the show, or if you want to be a guest host like Josh, no matter where you're located, we can get you on the show because of Skype and stuff. So give us an email. It's
magic of the internet.
Yeah, magic of the internet. It's bigbms@zoho.com. If you like me and want to hear more of what I have to say, I've got a podcast called Geek Wars Podcast. You can check that out on iTunes and Podcast Addict and wherever podcasts are found. Josh, anything you want to plug? Anything you got coming up that you're doing?
Not at the moment. I have the few things I'm working on here coming out. The Miss Alma show.
The Miss Alma show, which is coming together soon, hopefully. Yeah.
The Heartland review, a little bit on that, and Step by Step, just a few things working on that.
Cool. So check out that stuff from Josh. Next week, my host is going to be Jerome Gilbert. Jerome's coming back. We loved having him on the show a couple months ago when we did Huntsman, and we've got him in for another week where we're doing a kind of silly movie. It's called Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. That's the whole title of the movie. It looks ridiculous. Yeah, there you go. That looks ridiculous. So we're also going to see the return of the kid correspondent. We wanted to get her back for BFG, but she was super busy, as 9-year-olds tend to be. But we're going to have her back definitely next week to talk about The Secret Life of Pets, which should be a big, big one. That should be a fun movie for this coming weekend. If you liked the show, but you wish the whole thing was faster, check on YouTube. We have a 90-second version of the show. You can watch that, and it's a little more condensed version of everything we do. So, thanks so much. Good night.